Welcome to Monday Morning Coffee with Inside the Firm. Each week, our hosts will be interviewing local, regional, and national business leaders to give you an inside peek into how they lead their business to success in the ever-competitive business climate.
Welcome to Monday Morning Coffee Inside the Firm. Dave, a very special guest. Richard Walsh is the CEO of Sharpen, the Spear Coaching, and he is a 30-year seasoned entrepreneur, also the best-selling author of Escape the Owner Prison, the Contractor's New Way to Scale, Regain Control, and Fast-Track Growth While Loving Life. He is also a speaker and a podcast host, husband and a father of 6 children, a U.S. Marine, a champion boxer, black belt, and an internationally recognized steel sculptor. His expertise lies in combining both the strategic and the tactical. He is able to deliver immediate problem-solving results along with strategic long-term implementation of systemization and scalability. With over 30 years in business himself, Richard has embraced time compression, sharing the secrets and strategies that bring rapid and lasting results to the companies he works with. Richard, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lance. Great to be here.
Yeah. So before we get into what you do now, I got to know how you got here. Are you from a family of entrepreneurs? Are you the first? Where does that entrepreneurial spirit come from?
I think I kind of sparked it. My dad would do side gigs, but he had to work, he supported kids and everything else, so he kind of always did side work. And I think it started selling golf balls from the pond on the golf course we lived on, selling them on the fourth tee for 25 cents way back in the day. But yeah, really, I don't think it was any real family thing. It was just kind of something I fell into, especially after the Corps. I learned, I was swinging a pickaxe, digging trench, $5 an hour. And the guy had me do a side gig. He wanted me to shovel 35 tons of granite from the street to his backyard. I said, I can do that all day. And I did that, but he paid me $1,000 to do it. So I'm like, well, yesterday I did it for $50. Today it's $1,000. I know my future. That was the birth of entrepreneurship for Richard.
I love that. I love that. It just takes that one time for it to click. I'm much the
Yes.
same way, because what I did is I ended up asking one of my former bosses, or he said, what do you think I'm charging the clients compared to what I pay you? And once I did that math, I was like, oh, I didn't realize that's how it works. I mean, I was only 13.
Right.
So I'm with you. Well, one of the things I wanted to ask you is you talk about how being the lowest bidder could be the worst thing that you can do for
Mhm.
your business. I would love for you to unpack that.
So low bidding is the race to the bottom. That's what we call it, right? Because to be the low bidder, you always have to be the lowest to win the bids. So what are you doing constantly? Lowering your price, which means what? You're making less profit.
Mm-hmm.
You're squeezing everything else around you just so you can get this job to keep your guys busy, right? To keep the company going. But there's no freedom from that. That is scrapping every day. Every single day, right? There's no, and then you get to the point of like, okay, you want to be done. Who's going to buy your company? You don't generate profit that's even interesting,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're just getting by. Oh, I work on a 1% margin. I mean, if you're Coca-Cola, you can do that. Okay, if you're selling billions of cans of Coke, you can do a 0.5% or a 1%, but anyone else who lives in reality can't do that. So if you want to build real profit, you flip it and you go high value clients, right? Understand your niche, truly understand your ideal client and what they truly want and what value they want. Now you can choose what you charge. If everybody else is charging 200, you can charge 275 or 375 and people will pay it. See, everyone gets caught into what everyone else is doing, what they're charging. That's like, oh, that's what they charge. Well, why do you have to charge that? But going in low, like some people, I'll go in low to begin, get my foot in the market. You want to be careful of that too. Like I did jobs and I broke even or lost some money, right? Because I wanted pictures from my portfolio. But I quickly started charging more when I realized, and I'll tell you what, 20 years in that business, custom water features, even I'm charging $100,000 for a water feature, 200,000. You know what no one ever said? They paid too much. They all said, you do not charge enough for what you do.
Yeah. And would they say that would they say that in hindsight after it was all working and everything, they were just enjoying? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they walk out, but I'm like, yeah, I don't charge enough now that yours is done. That was my joke with them.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's ever told me I don't charge enough. So maybe I'm already kind of am down the right path. I don't know. Another thing you have a strong opinion about is owners that are struggling to scale their businesses. Why do you think so many owners do? I mean, architects, for example, just so you know, Richard, 40% of us are sole proprietors, and there's
Right.
about 120,000 architects in the United States.
Right. So here's what they do. This is the owner prison. So they call this is what the owner prison is. You start your business, you got to work really hard. There's no way around that. You're wearing 9 hats, right? Trying to do everything. The
Mhm.
first 2 years are really, really difficult. I don't know a way to get around that. But next thing you know, Lance, 10 years has gone by. You've repeated the first 2 years 5 times. That's why they can't scale. They're making money. They're making some money, but they're just dressing up the hamster wheel. They still can't put the hammer down, or they still can't delegate. Their business isn't self-operating. If they don't unlock the door, business doesn't happen. If they don't land the clients, there's no business, right? So they don't build a self-running business, because their goal should be for them to be working on the 5% of the business only they can do, right? Vision, maybe reeling in the big clients, stuff like that,
Mhm.
understanding growth and doing that. But they can't, because they don't have the systems, they don't have the lanes built out, they can't delegate properly. And that's why they're stuck. And that's even if they try to scale, they run and start to open and push out. But since they don't have systems and processes that are duplicatable, they can't take the team with them. So now you got to get new people who don't know anything. So you're trying to duplicate something that's not duplicatable, right? And that's when they fall flat, because now they go in debt. They're trying to leverage, they're trying to go out and gain a market share, but they're not prepared for it to handle the work that's going to come in. Because marketing's marketing. You can drive the work,
Mhm.
but can you deliver? Can you stay at the same high level of value and expertise and everything else that you're doing? Can you stay there with the next location with new people working behind the wheel? So that's where they struggle.
Yeah, yeah. One of the best pieces of advice I got very early on. We started our firm about 15 years ago, and one of my best friends, Robert Wygant of Sumex, he said, if you really want to multiply, you have to. I mean, if you ever want to grow, like you got to clone yourself. You have to figure out how to clone yourself and repeat those processes, and that stuck with me ever since. And now we're up to 14 people between the two companies. So I completely agree. And then the delegation part of it too.
Right.
I think a lot of creatives just that's probably one of their struggles is like, and year one too, or like, how do you let go of your work at a certain point and
Right.
be able to delegate it? Like, what kind of tips would you give people to, especially on the delegation part of it?
Yeah. So here's where people make the mistake on the delegation, Lance, is they go do this.
Mm.
You
And
do
that's it.
this.
Yeah.
And they walk away. Okay. That's what I call the abdicating. But
Hmm.
the way you succeed in delegation is the lane, whatever the position, I don't care if it's office manager or job site foreman. Okay. That needs to be built out completely. What that means is there has to be boundaries, there has to be expectations, there has to be consequences, right? There has to be understanding of how everything works. So they know all the job functions, what specifically they do, all of it, how they do it. That's another column. And then the third column is the training of how they do it. You have to build that out, because here's what I tell everybody. It's a saying I have, and it goes like this: everybody leaves. Okay. So all you need to know, everybody leaves. So you might have the best person in the world for a year, 2 years, 5 years. They're going to leave.
Hmm.
And now you got to replace them. Now what happens? Is it 6 months, a year before you get someone good? Or can you grab someone who has minimal competency, drop them in that position you've built out, and they're up to speed in 7 days? Now they're running with the ball to the goalpost. If you get, because that's how you attract top talent too, because they're not coming to fix your business. They want to come, if they're a salesperson, they want to come and close.
Hmm.
They want to make money. Okay. And if you give them the lanes to run in there, that's how you do it. Okay. So you've got to systemize that aspect, give them a place to go, let them run, then you're free.
Yeah.
Someone else is training them, right? And you're being able to go out and do your 5%.
Yeah. It's like, being halfway up the hill. I feel like, so when you start a business, you're at the bottom, then you're climbing up every day, and you hit a certain point where you maybe do start to multiply. And then that's the middle part, is where I actually got really nervous as a service-based business, because I was like, okay, I have good people in place. And just like you said, Richard, they're going to leave, and some have left. it's like, how do I'm always looking for that second person to take over that person's job who's going to leave and give them a promotion and move them up and then keeping everything flowing in place. Very important, I think, because you're right. It's especially at there's no such thing as the company man with the watch at the end of the
No,
day with the pension,
no,
right? This
nope.
doesn't happen anymore. Like, I mean, I've been searching for some statistics lately of like, what is the turnover rate? I think it's in architecture, it's like 5 to 7 years. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll stay at one place.
They say people now in their lifetime, so a kid who's 18, 20 years old is going to have 11 careers, not
Not even
jobs,
jobs. Yeah.
not jobs, careers in their life. So think about that, right? So I call it ABH, always be hiring.
Mm.
So, and and I have another rule I do with my clients. We don't hire the unemployed. That's rule number one. Oh, you're not working? Yeah, thanks anyways.
Mhm.
There's a reason they're not working. Okay. I want people who are working, succeeding, and looking to do something better, more, whatever that is. I want someone who's hireable. Now, if the guy got canned the day before, let go, they downsize, I get it. But what I'm saying in general, I want the employed working. Because again, they have competency, they're appreciated by a company, at least at this point. I used to find guys, whether it was Home Depot or wherever, they're picking out parts, they're talking, hey, what do you do? And he tells me, oh, yeah, I go, you happy? Yeah, it's okay. Hey, man, here's my card. You ever want to talk to me? I might have a place for you in my company. If you ever want to talk, just give me a call. They call
Oh, they
because
do. Yeah.
they're looking because I'm looking at a guy who they give him responsibility. He's got a company truck out there. He's here buying materials, right? He's an employee. He's doing all this. I want that guy. I want that guy. I want someone. You come and drop him in the lane, you're going to kill it. He's on fire in a week. It's awesome. So
Hmm. Hmm. Tell us about the title you have here of one of your strategies, which is strategic vision. So unpack that for us. How do you think it transforms people's companies? Maybe you could even give us an example story.
yeah. So when we talk about people talk about, you got to improve your company culture, right? I mean, it all sounds good, but no one has any idea how to do it. They couldn't tell you step one on transforming your company culture. So strategic vision is that thing that will transform company culture. It'll drive your business to where it truly needs to go. And everybody in the company will be on the same page and they understand their role. So what we do is we create a vision. It's called future casting. So it's not what we're doing right now, Lance. It's what we're going to be doing in the next 18 to 24 months. Okay, so this is what we want to do. Now, every person, it's internal too. So this is all inside the business, right? It's not
Hmm.
marketing. Every person in that business, in that journey from the first call of a customer all the way through delivery or whatever that looks like in your business, they all know exactly where they're at there. And it's tied in with like part story where someone came from, what they do, how they fulfill this. It shows them where they're the hero in the journey. And without them, this doesn't happen. Right. And then they see where we're all going. So now you have an entire team, whether it's 3 people or 300, all working towards fulfilling the strategic vision. That's the goal, right? It can be tweaked as you go along. So once they understand that, and I roll this out, and I'll give you an example. I did a company, and they were like a landscape company, basically, right? Did this stuff, all guys working, okay, just guys out clearing brush, doing all this kind of stuff. We built this vision, and they've been in business 40 years.
Hmm.
Okay, so the son now is kind of running it. We did this. These are men. Okay, I guys can like so unbelievably moved by this when we rolled it out because they had purpose.
Hmm.
Okay, because there's 3 things you need: purpose. Okay, you need purpose. You need quality feedback, recognition, and you need quality pay. Right? Starts with purpose. What people want the most is purpose. They want to work for purpose. This strategic vision gives them absolute purpose. Where we're going, why we're doing, we know who, how, and why we serve our clients. We understand who we give to, like charities and everything else. Everything is planned out. Everything's moving towards the same place. So
Hmm.
people are willing to come to work because they have purpose now. Now, recognition is, hey, you're doing a great job, or hey, you're doing a pretty bad job. Let's fix this. All they want is quality feedback. Do I live? Do you know I live? Am I part of this? Right? They want that. Then comes the
Yeah.
money. Money's never the primary driver. And when you do a strategic vision, you really understand that.
Would you
Right.
say it's in that order too? One, two, three,
Yes.
like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. It's purpose first, recognition, then money. Now, money's important. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't pay people, but that's not. Otherwise, think if money was number one, they'd sell you out to the guy down the street who's going to pay him 50 cents more an hour.
Oh, sure.
But people aren't driven by that. They want quality money. Don't get me wrong, but that's not that's not why they decide to work somewhere. You know, I have clients who people have taken pay cuts to come work for them because they want to be in that culture. They want to see that vision. They want to fulfill that with that company. So very powerful tool. That has very high level on it. It's a very detailed thing. It's a lot of work, but when it's done, it's amazing what it does for the company.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, what do you think the real reason is that one's business is it robs us of our free time with little profit? If we are running those kind of businesses, I don't run that kind of business, but maybe
Right.
there's people listening who do.
Right. Again, I think we're going back to the owner, the entrepreneur is always in the way. They're always in the way. You're why you're not making profit. Because again, they haven't done the things we just got to talking about. Automate, delegate, eliminate. Those three things. You're not automating part of your company, but however much you can. There's a million ways to do that. You're delegating. We talked about that, right? You're putting people in the right place with the ability to win, and then you're eliminating. And we get, cost reduction and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, right? You need to eliminate you, the owner. You got to be on the elimination schedule. You got to go from 60, 70, 80 hours a week down to 10 or 15. Okay. You can do it. You can do it because that's working on your 5%. Right. And that's why that's the situation. They miss profit because they're running in such a hot mess, Lance, that all the money's seeping through the cracks. They don't have time to look for where they can increase their profit. I can come into a business right now and guarantee you I can increase your profit by at least $100,000. I can guarantee I can do that without blinking an eye. Like that's most businesses. And you could be making 500,000 a year and I can increase 100,000. You can make it 10 million. I could increase it 100,000 and maybe 900,000.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because people aren't looking in the right places for this stuff. They're busy doing the work. Right. And I get it. You have to do it. But until you can step away and see that and have the bandwidth to look at someone and bring in someone who can show you that, that's what changes the game. And that's why they're stuck.
Yeah. There's a 3-letter acronym here. I've got LPV. It stands for lifetime
Yes.
probable value. I've never heard of this. What does it mean?
Okay. Lifetime profitable value. What that is I get a customer, okay, comes to me and I'll use a car dealer. Okay. So I have a family. I have a husband, me, my wife, and my 6 kids. And we're all driving now. So there's 8 of us. I go to the car dealer. My wife and I buy a new car every 3 years. Every 3.5 to get a new car. That's 100 G's plus, right? For the both of us. Now I have 6 kids who need cars. Okay. So over the next 20 years, what is me and my family worth to that dealer? We're a 7-figure family to a car dealer. One family.
Mm-hmm.
Lifetime. If I'm a roofer, which I was, I do roofing, siding, windows. Okay, I do the roof, 15,000. Okay, great. Well, what else are they going to need? Siding, windows, all this stuff I do over time. Not this week, but next year, over the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years of owning that home, they're worth $135,000 to me. That's lifetime profitable value. When you look at what a customer's worth over the long period, if you're only one and done, that's a bad business model. Right? You have to build a home. You're an architect, you design a home, great, they move in the home, but they usually do more than one home in their lifetime, so, but at the same thing, you get referrals and everything else, right? So there's the lifetime profitability, there's additions, right? There's all these different things.
Yeah.
So we really want to think that way. We have to think long-term. What can we, and I'm using this in a positive way, extract from the client? What more service can we bring? What more can we give them? Let's give them an opportunity to spend money with us. Don't think you're, hey, yeah, well, I did your roof. See you in 30 years. Dumbest thing ever to say.
Yeah.
Right? No, because there's going to be a hailstorm. There's going to be this, going to be that. They're going to break windows. They're going to need siding. They're going to need whatever. And that's my lifetime profitable value.
I love that. I love that. Something that we do too at the various companies that I own is I give back a lot. We are now avid donors to our alma mater, which has tied us back into that community up there. And now we're able to go speak and get in front of students, and then I go recruit in that way. I can ask the professors who are teaching up there, like, who should I be looking at? And who should I not be looking at, sort of thing.
Right.
So that's a very easy one-to-one of giving back, and then what do I kind of getting back, and what does it do, right? If we're building a business. There's other things that we do too, like I donate a lot of our time and money to one of my nonprofits, which is a community garden. It's mostly just I think outwardly, it's a
Mhm.
good piece of press for us.
Yeah.
But what are some other ways people can use their business, give back, and how can it help build a powerful business?
There's a couple things. I'll hit a simple one that we do with that we really encourage our businesses to do, that we work with, is how do you make your people who work for you, your employees, better as people? Not more competent. I mean, we want them to be competent, want them to do that. How do we make them better people?
Mm, mm,
What can we give back to them directly? What does that look like? Because what do they do? If they become better people, where do they take that? Home, right? Now they affect their family. Where's their family? They're in the community. Okay. So, like, my mission is to help 10,000 business owners create profit, freedom, and impact in their business. Well, if I do that with an owner, 10,000 owners who have 5 to 50 employees, who all have families, who are all in the community, that's a million plus people ripple effect, right? To do that just by encouraging and building up your people in your company. That's one way, right? That affects a lot of people. Another is to go into the community and find out what organizations, like you're saying, whether it's a better women's shelter or a foster care thing, whatever, what do they actually need? They don't need money. They
mhm.
need money, they think, but what do they actually need? Start donating that stuff. Oh, you need 800 bottles of shampoo, because people use shampoo at the ones. Okay, well, I'll get that for you. Then I'll open up their cash flow so they can use it on more important things, right? Things like that. But it's not so that you get press. It's you just do it. It's the right hand not knowing the left hand's doing. You
Yeah.
do it because that community talks. You don't have to say a
Mm,
thing. Okay. And these people who run these nonprofits, okay,
yeah.
a lot of times they're well connected in the
Yeah.
community. Well connected. So they'll be in a conversation with someone talk about construction or building a home. What they say, well, you got to talk to Lance.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a wonderful guy. Just, I'm telling you, talk to Lance first. At least give him that. He does help us out a lot, but I'm telling you, he's amazing. And there you go. And you weren't looking for anything, but you can get that kind of stuff. You start to put roots in your community, wherever your business is. Start to do that. Help those people who are helping others. That's what you want to do, right? And do it in a different way. Don't just give money.
Yeah.
Okay, it's too easy. It's too easy to cut a check. Like I said, give them materials, a giant
I
box of
love that.
shampoo or whatever it is, paper products, whatever it is, or give your time, like you're doing for the garden stuff. Same thing. Go work
Hmm.
there on a Saturday. Go do something. Again, no publicity, no nothing. Just go put the time, be a servant, and go do that kind of stuff. And you'll see the benefits you get.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that so much. Thank you for those, the sort of
Mhm.
diving in on, the women's shelter, for example, and the
Right.
shampoo and everything.
Right.
Uh, Tell us about your book, Escaping the Owner Prison. What is it about? What did you write it? Why did you write it?
Yeah. So in 08, 09, when the economy collapsed, so did my business of 20 years.
Mm,
Okay. Now, it was not the economy that wrecked my business. It was me.
mm,
Okay. I'm taking full ownership. All the things I didn't do in my business that could have weathered that, I was having too much fun being out front, building cool stuff, taking accolades, being on committees, and oops, I forgot I got a business to run, and I took it away. So I lost everything, lost my home, lost the business. I got 6 little kids, 4 years and under, had to start over, had to relocate. I did that, Lance, started figuring it out, didn't know what I was going to do. I wasn't going to do what I did. Started that going. Then I started, okay, I opened a gym that got successful. I did a contracting business. People started asking me, well, how'd you do all that? How'd you go from all that to nothing, being on top, being the best, to nothing, to that? So I started helping them with their business in the mentor position, right? Just giving them advice. I'm like, oh, I started seeing patterns in every business. You're all doing the same wrong things. So the more I looked at that, I'm like, I think I'll write a book and I'll weave my story in it. And I'm going to give them all this foundational stuff they should be doing, they should know, but they don't. So that's when I wrote the book. And now the hardest part of the book was two things. It was first the title, and then it was the subtitle. I had 27 working titles, and I went with the 28th. Okay, because I didn't like any of them. And then the subtitle was even more difficult. And luckily, I had an editor who fixed it. I like had the general idea. And she goes, well, just leave those words out and do this. I went, oh, that's why you're an editor.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so that's amazing. So, but I really wanted to help, and I focus on contractors. I built an academy around the book so I could coach people because mentorship is for free. I'm an entrepreneur, coaching, you get paid.
Hmm.
So I'm like, well, let's write a book. Let's build an academy. Let's start coaching businesses because if I can get hands-on and get in, I can make change. I can show them, I can build programs and bring them through it. So a few iterations through that. We're at Sharpen the Spear now, and it's awesome. But the book was really about that, just showing what you can do. You can lose it all and start over again, but never forget the basics. And it's a lot of things we already talked about, like it's in the book. And if you apply that stuff, you'll get off the hamster wheel. You will escape the owner prison. You'll be able to spend time with your family for real. You'll actually get to go to your kids' games and their recitals and whatever it is. You'll take those vacations and be totally present, never be on the phone to work. That's the goal, right? Because everyone starts out for that, Lance, right? We want freedom. We want the money.
Yeah.
They never get it. They work again, 10 years, 20, they're just working. They're making a little more money, but they're chained to it. They can't leave. Can they leave for 90 days and not call in? Can you do that?
I know.
guarantee you, but right?
I mean, I left.
We'll
I
go
went
back.
on a 2-week elk hunting trip, and that's where I actually found my limit. It's September too, which is difficult. It's a pretty hot time of the year for us. I was able to leave for a whole week, not do anything, and I did have to come back for a Monday. And I thought, that's not too bad. That's not too bad for only being 41 at 15 years. But I am like, how would I ever do it for a month? Is kind of became my next goal. I'm with you. So yeah, it's that's one of the primary reasons why I decided to be an entrepreneur too, was like I need the freedom. I don't want to be this tied down that way. Life is short. I'm not gonna regret all the times I went fishing while I'm on my deathbed,
Right.
thinking I should have been in the office.
Yeah.
Richard, you have been fantastic. We're running up on the half hour here. I got 2 questions I ask every guest
Yeah.
as we near the ending of our interview here. First one is, knowing what you know now, and if you could go back in time when you first started your business, coaching business, what is one piece of advice you give yourself?
Ask for help.
Mm,
Get a coach. I'm a coach who needs a coach. Okay, we all need them. No one is above a coach. Just look at professional athletes. They have multiples, and we should too.
mhm. I love that. That takes a lot of guts to say, right? As a coach to coach, you heard it here, ladies and gents. And I love the differentiation you made too, Richard, between mentor is free, coach that costs money.
Mhm.
I'm gonna start trying to use that in my language as well. Thanks again, Richard. Where can people follow you, get in touch with you about your services, your coaching, if they want to after this episode?
Sharpenthespearcoaching.com. One-stop shop. Go there.
Beautiful. Richard, thanks so much for being on the show today. We appreciate your time.
Been awesome, Lance. Thank you.